Yeah, so it's got a great, smooth action. I've never had an issue with cycling. Like you can just see, like, you know, once you just, like, it's just smooth. One of the other nice reasons is, like, stop doing that. Any of those makers out there, like, stop doing proprietary mags. They suck. Just go with a standard mag configuration. This is an AICS site type mag. It fits in there nice and snug, right? And you can buy a 10-round magazine if you're doing bench rest, range shooting. That's what you want anyway. Why the HMR over the Wilderness Ridge as far as doing bench rest shooting? Because that's what this is really geared for. It says HMR, hunting match rifle. I'm not going to hunt this because it's a little chunky and there's better options. I have better options. So I'm not going to hunt this, but you could. This one doesn't seem like it's quite as heavy as the Wilderness Ridge. You can see that it still has 2 sling swivel studs on the bottom, which will probably be taken out with the Picatinny rail that can go on there. That's what I did with mine. It's an amazing setup. In fact, Area 419 sells a performance pack for this particular rifle, which includes Picatinny rail for scope mount, as well as the mighty Hellfire muzzle brake. The other reasons, and it still has a lot of the same features, sorry, before I get into that, it still has the QD flush mounts on both sides, left and right, which is really nice. Rifle manufacturers, start doing that. Nobody wants to have this sling attachment on the bottom anymore. Nobody wants that. It's way easier, especially once you put a big optic on top, to have this thing sitting sideways on your back. Then you don't have like the scope jarring into, and the nice thing about being on both sides is if you're like one of those weird left-handers and you're using left-handed operated, you can flip it around the other way so that you have the flat spot on your back. So there's that. There's the adjustable cheek height, okay, lock it in, which you can do on the fly. Mine, you can't really do it on the fly because it doesn't have this little cool tightening device. It has adjustable length of pull as the spacers in the back. We're both fairly tall people, so that probably doesn't have to be taken in at all. The paint job on it, it's not as attractive, I think, in my opinion, as the Wilderness Ridge. The paint job on this is like flat dark earth with Jackson Pollock, or it almost appears to me like if you ever drive down fresh asphalt and if you had a brown car, like you would get that splatter behind the wheel wells. That's what it kind of looks like to me. But that being aside, you could always change that. You could paint it yourself, whatever. If it really annoys you, it's fine. It looks good. As you can see where the center of balance is right about there. Again, no optic on it yet, but it's got a very aggressive forward pistol grip for the shooting, which I like. That's going to be very comfortable. It's got these cutaways wherever you want to place your hands while you're tucked up into the bench. This thing is made as a bench rifle, in my opinion. This is not a hunting match rifle. This is more leaning towards the match part. 22-inch long barrel. Again, this is chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. It weighs, I think, 9.5 pounds. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 9.5 pounds is, I think, what I saw. So yeah, it's chunky, but it's not. It feels good. I think it's because of the balance. It doesn't feel like it's got that heavy contour barrel, and that is in a matte blued. It is threaded. But you don't get the really bad omnidirectional muzzle brake with it, so that's fine too, because everybody's going to take that off and replace it anyway. It's a 1 in 8 twist, excellent, 6.5 Creedmoor. Spin that guy up as fast as possible, and that will allow you to shoot the heavier loads, because you can actually get 147 and maybe even like bigger now for 6 point, but I know there's 147. So yeah, it's going to spin those loads up, and it should be nice and stable in flight. Very, very, very comfortable position. Again, we don't have a bipod or anything on this yet, but I really like the stock on this. This is going to set you back $1,600 in Canada, give or take, if you can find them. And in the US, I think these are hovering around the 1,000, maybe 1,100 mark. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's where it's at. Read the reviews, go look at them. I've seen people who actually own them out at the range, and they're very happy with this rifle. It has the chassis system that they have built into the stock is very, very good as far as securing. It is a aluminum mini chassis on the inside, so everything is tucked in secure. You're not going to have probably that overspray issue as I have with the Ridge, and if you haven't seen that video, we should have a new one, a follow-up coming up shortly, but that original video where it's a Dream Rifle turns into Nightmare, we went through many nightmare situations with that, and now finally it is shooting as it should be, but it was frustrating. The trigger on these Bergaras is a very light, except from the fact, I think it's a 3 to 5 range, but they're very, very light, and what I like about them is there's like zero creep. So you hit the wall instantaneously, and it's a very crisp break. I would say that that's a fraction less than 3 pounds. Very nice trigger on these things. So yeah, if you're thinking about buying a match type precision shooting bench shooter, 6.5 is a great cartridge, as we know, because it's basically flat. But they have this in almost every cartridge out there, most of the popular ones anyway, and they also have them in left-handed for you guys. So Bergara doing great things for rifles, doing great things for us shooters that want to get into it for a decent price. And we'll see what he's going to do for an optic, but I have a feeling this thing is going to be out at the range very soon and be shot. I am the guy with Beard, Guns, and Gear. Please click that like, subscribe, drop in the comments if you have one, and if it's feast or famine, if you're happy with it or if you're frustrated with it. We'll see you next time.